So, let's proceed with the approximation. Ito yung approximation ng diode. So, we have here, ito siya. Diode approximations are, we have this ideal. Ito yung ideal. Next one is the practical. And then, the last one is the complete. So, again, this is the three diode approximation, the ideal, the practical, the complete. So, in addition, the complete model includes the effect of a large reverse resistance that accounts for a tiny current when a reverse bias. Again, ito yung three diode approximation natin, the ideal, practical, at saka complete. So, let's have this ideal muna. So, as you can see here, ito yung curve natin or graph natin, figure natin for the ideal. So, again, for the ideal, ito yung curve niya. So, itong positive curve, horizontal axis at this positive, again, itong horizontal, this curve at this horizontal axis of the positive indicates na itong BF natin dito, voltage at the forward is equivalent to 0. Kaya BF natin is equals to 0 volt. For this side naman, wherein itong negative, at the negative, itong horizontal axis at this negative indicates na ang IR natin is equals to 0. Kaya ang IR is equals to 0. Thus, our VR is equals to V bias, yung voltage ng bias. To calculate the IF, itong current forward, we're going to have this Ohm's law, wherein ang Ohm's law natin is given as V is equals to IR. So, kakalculate natin daw is yung itong IF natin. So, in order to have the value for this current forward is ito yung mangyari. So far, we have here divide dito ng R, divide dito ng R, makancel yan. So, ang I natin is equals to V over R. So, therefore, ang I forward is equals to V, the voltage bias over the resistor limit. So, yan yung ideal. So, let's move with the second one, which is yung practical. For this practical, ito siya. For this practical, ito yung curve niya. This curve indicates na ang V sub F, the forward bias, equals to this 0.7 volt. So, meaning, BF is equals to 0.7 volt. And this negative, at this curve, at this curve, the horizontal axis at this negative axis indicates na ang IR is equals to 0. Therefore, ang IR is equals to 0 here, 0 amp, and therefore, ang VR is equals to V sub bias. So, VR is equals to the voltage bias. And then, to get the value for this current IF, the current forward, is gagamit tayo ng Kirchhoff rules. So, ito siya. Using a KVL laws, ang mangyari, we have this V sub bias minus the V sub R minus the V sub F is equals to 0. Wherein, our V sub R is equivalent yan sa IF multiplied with R limit. Yung current sa IF na nag-flow dito, multiply the resistor. Again, the VR limit here is equals to IF multiplied with the voltage, multiplied with the R limit. So, VR limit is equals to IF R limit. So, para makuha natin yung IF natin dito sa circuit na to, IF is equals to V bias minus this VF over the R limit. So, that is for the practical. For the third one, we have what we call the complete. Itong complete, ito yung curve niya. Dito na curve, this is the slope due to the low forward dynamic resistance. Ito naman, this is the small reverse current due to high reverse resistance. So, ito yung formula for the complete. BF is equals to 0.7 volt plus IFR prime D. Ito siya. Ito siya. BF, wherein this is the BF is equals to, ang BF is equals to 0.7 volt plus IF tapos multiply with this R prime D. Then, makuha natin yung value natin for the IF using this formula. IF is equals to voltage bias minus 0.7 volt over R limit plus R prime D. So, that is the complete. So, let's have an example for this one. For example, ito siya. For example, use practical model to determine the current in the circuit. So, ito yung circuit natin. As you can see here in the circuit, we have this voltage bias at saka itong resistor at saka itong diode. Here in the resistor, mayroon tayo ditong voltage. So, therefore, we have here voltage resistor. Positive, this to minus. For this diode, mayroon din tayo ditong voltage forward. So, we have here VF. This is plus, minus. Again, we're going to calculate the current in this circuit. So, ang current na nagpo-flow dito, which is I sub R. So, para makuha natin yan is ikakalculate muna natin yung value natin for the VR. So, again, for this V sub F, sa practical model, ang forward bias is equivalent yan sa 0.7 volt. So, ang hanapin muna natin is itong VR. So, para mahanap natin itong voltage resistor is we're going to use KVL. So, applying KVL through this circuit, we have negative V bias. This is V bias. Plus this VR. Plus itong VF. So, we have plus VF. Is equals to 0. So, hahanapin natin is VR again. So, we have VR is equals to V bias. Ito, V bias minus VF. So, ito na yung formula natin for V sub R. Where our V sub bias, ito siya, 12 volt. Kaya ito, 12 volt. Yung V sub F naman natin is 0.7 volt. Kaya ito, 0.7 volt. So, 12 minus 0.7 volt is equals to 11.3 volt. Kaya, ang VR natin is equals to 11.3 volt. Now, we can have or we can calculate the current in resistor or the current that flows through the circuit using this formula. So far, we have I is equals to V sub R over R. Kasi, ito is V sub R is equals to I, R, R. Wherein our IR is equal yan sa I. Yung nagpo-flow dito na current, which is, shall we say, I. So, IR is equal yan sa I. Itong IF is equals to I lang yan. So, I is equals to VR over R. Kaya, ang VR natin is itong 11.3 volt. Itong 11.3 volt is substitute lang natin dito. Ito siya. Magiging 11.3 volt at then yung resistor natin which is 3.3 kilo ohm. So, 11.3 over 3.3 kilo ohm equivalent yan sa ito siya. Equivalent to this is equivalent to 3.4 milliamp. So, again, ang current natin through this circuit is equivalent to 3.4 milliamp. So, that is for this example. So, ang nakuha natin is, again, the current is 3.4 milliamp. Then, ang voltage in the resistor is equals to 11.3 volt. So, that is for this example of this circuit using the practical model. So, these are the typical diode packages. So, some common configurations are this one, where itong key na to indicates a cathode. Ito namang A here is indicates the anode.